Hello there everyone, this is Brother Birch. In this video I wanted to show you a really good way to do your desk checks. So a desk check really is kind of just stepping through the code in your head, trying to figure out what each thing is going to be, and I'm going to show you a good trick to actually step through the code. Um, I have in the video spreadsheet a good video on debugging, um, but in this desk check we're going to do a little bit of debugging with our developer tools. So I'm going to hit F12 to open up our developer tools. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can have a new file open for this, or I just open this up right here on the page. Okay, so it says example 6 var swap equals A, and A starts off at 8. A equals B, and B is -3. And then we're going to see, so these are the two values that it starts off, that these two variables were declared at, and then we're going to see what each one of these get. Okay, so I can just say var A, whoops, equals 8, var B equals -3. Now that they're defined, I can say var swap equals A and see what swap is. Okay, each time I'm doing this, I'm hitting enter to run that statement, that line of code. And then to see what swap was, I just typed in swap with a semicolon and hit enter again. And I see that swap is 8. Okay, so if I type in 8 there, should be good to go. And then A equals B. Okay, and then I can see what A is, and it looks like it's just -3. All right, and then B equals swap. B equals swap. Okay, and then if I just type in B, B gets 8. Okay, so this one's pretty simple, but it's a really good example for just how to use the console over here to type these things in. All right, let's try another one. This one's a little bit more complex. It says var or function Celsius to Fahrenheit, and it has this function. Okay, and then it has us stepping through all of these. And so what I'm going to do with this one, it's a little bit intense to try to use the console for each one of these steps. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this function, and we're going to put it into a temporary file. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here. All right, so I'll make this smaller so we can see the whole thing. Okay, so in here, I just copied this function, and this is just a temporary program, HTML program that I have. And I just copied that function into here, and I'll call it by pressing this button in the body of my HTML file. And then I can see what we'll get here. Okay, so I'm going to save that, copy the file path, and then run it in my browser by pasting it in the URL bar. Okay, but I don't care about that, about what we'll see in the page here. I want to go ahead and debug this. I'm going to hit F12 to open up the developer tools, click on sources, make sure my file is selected right here, and then put a breakpoint right there on the inside of this function that we want to see what's going on. Okay, so text, oh, we got to give it a value. Okay, if, yeah, let's go ahead and give it a value. Okay, so I think it gave us the default value of 20, a string of 20, okay, that the user typed in. So let's refresh that, and let's hit our button. Okay, so text is 20, all right, and then Celsius gets 20 as a number. So if we come back over here, text started off at 20, Celsius then would just be a number 20, all right, and then it needs to know Celsius times 9. So if I come over here, debugging, I can actually highlight from this all the way to 9, and then hover over it and see what it'll get. And it'll get 180. So I'm going to take that 180 value, and I'll just place it right in here. Okay, and then Celsius times 9 divided by 5. So if I come back over here, I can see I can just highlight this chunk from 5 all the way to the end of that parentheses, and we get 36. Okay, so go ahead and type 36 in here. And then the last one for Farron, we'll just see what this gets. I'll just hit F10 to go forward, and then Farron got 68. Okay, and so I'd put that in here, and then hit check. And there we go. Okay, so those are just two examples of how we can use both the console to get things and a debugger. Okay, now both of these were pretty simple, especially this one. You know, I could totally use a calculator to say, yeah, you know, Celsius times 9, that'd be 20. 9 divided by 5 is, or, you know, and just like go through each one of these. But they do get harder okay? And so it's really helpful if you can just stick this program in here and actually run your code and see what's happening at every point in it. Um, so let's go ahead and do one more example. We'll do this last one here. So I'm going to copy this function, distance, into the file right here. Just going to paste it, format it nicely, and then we're going to call distance on this button. Okay, and we have a couple of input boxes here, so let's see what we're going to have to do with that. It says x1 started at 7, -2, 4, and 6. Okay, and they're all numbers. So I'm just going to highlight this, hit Control D 3 times, and delete all those, add a semicolon, and let's see one more time what that was. Okay, so for x1 we had 7, x2 we had -2, or y1 is -2, x2 is 4, and y2 is 6. Okay, and now if I save this, I should be able to run that program. So I'll go ahead and hit F8 to let that go, hit refresh, and I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. Okay, just because these aren't really doing anything, they're just assigning values. And I'm going to hit message to run our distance function. All right, now let's come back and look at this. The first thing that we have to figure out is dx. All right, so let's come over here. Dx gets -3. Okay, so I'll go ahead and type in -3 right there. All right, let's see what dy ends up being. Hit F10, gets 8. Okay, and then it's looking for dist, which will be this right here. Okay, so I'll just hit F10 and it gets this value right here. So I'll copy this. Whoops, copy it here too. Copy that. And let's see, paste right here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to copy. Okay, I should have copied that now. Paste it. And it says get the coordinates from 2 points in the user. Round the distance to 2. Okay, so it doesn't say anything about distance rounding that. So let's leave it at this for now. And then digits is 2 multiplier, and then we'll end up getting dist again. All right, so I'll hit F10, 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 highlight over this and gets 8.54. So let's put that in here, 8.54, and let's check. Okay, oops, we missed a couple things. That was my bad. Have the console open here. All right, digits, it looks like was 2, and multiplier would have been that. So let's run this one more time, and I'll just hit F8. Actually, probably could have hovered over it just now. Hit message, come down to see what multiplier gets, and it is 100. Okay, 10 to the power 2. Okay, let's check that again. All right, so those are just a couple of examples. That's how I really like to go through desk checks. You know, some people will be like, wow, that's like cheating, you know, but it's not, because if you're able to run a program and get the exact values from everything without having to worry about if you messed it up in your brain or had a, you know, messed up copying or pasting something from somewhere or using a calculator or something, it's an extremely useful tool. Okay, so I encourage you to use your console to check things. I encourage you to debug things with your debugger. Okay, that's why they're there, to help us programmers out. All right. If there's anything we can do without thinking, then we should. So if you have any questions about this, just let me know. But I hope that this was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.